Your job. Put the gun down before you kill someone.
Teenage Girl's Diary.
Hello and welcome to another Dollar Store Drive-In. I'm your host, Laura.
I'm Joel.
And thank you for joining us. This is a half-hour chat show where we discuss a movie that we've watched. If this is your first time tuning in, we do record this out of our house, so there's many animals that might pop up on the screen here. Shaggy's little head is right there. We also turn this into a podcast, so if you're listening to us, thank you for that. This is a visual show, though, so we highly recommend that you find us, and you can do that by going to thenewlydeads.com for all of your spooky needs. There you can find information about our shows, where you can find them, all of the different platforms that we are on, and then also we're on YouTube, and we do different unboxing videos, sometimes follow me around videos. Sinister Snacks is another little show that we do that's on YouTube. And then we also do a blog. So Mr. Newly Dead over here does write different reviews for movies. And then I do occasional coffee reviews and business reviews. Most of them are local, and all of them are small business owners. So yeah, that's the gist of like where they can find us and stuff, I think. And then in order to make sure that this show has a structure, we've got some criteria. So like I said, this is a half-hour chat show. So we watched a movie. The movie needs to be either it should be under $5. It should be either a horror, sci-fi, or thriller genre movie. And it should be a movie that neither of us have ever seen before. And this week is definitely one of those movies. So we are reviewing this week, not this movie. Not at all. Why is that, Joel?
Well, when we got to go watch the movie, we realized that, number one, this set only includes 4 of the movies that are on the back. And the movie that we had originally promised you doesn't exist on that set and isn't streaming anywhere. So,
wah, wah, wah.
Thanks to the fine folks at MakeFlix.
Yeah?
Yep. Thank you to J.R. Bookwalter and his wonderful corporation, Tempe Digital. I had ordered another disc from them for a unboxing view that you'll see eventually on the YouTube channel. They included a bonus movie, which he tends to do. And so instead of that, we are going to be discussing Forest Primeval, the Polonia Brothers film from 2008.
And you don't have a disc thing for it, right?
Well, I have a disc that came with it, but it doesn't have any art or anything. It's just the disc itself.
Right.
So I probably could have put that up there, but surprise, there you go. So, but I'll put the show art up here so you will have seen that, so you know what we're talking about.
And this one can hit the road for now. Sometimes that's what you get when you buy stuff at the dollar store. Maybe that's why it's at the dollar store, because it's missing something, or if it was misprinted, or something like that. So it's fine.
That's all right. We got that. I got that disc in the mail the day of, and I was like, "Oh, cool, bonus movie." I always like to watch the bonus movies, and I was reading about it, and I got really excited, and we'll talk about that after the trailer. But it just worked out. It was serendipitous.
Yeah, I like serendipity.
So are you still going to give us a synopsis?
No, I'm going to let them watch the trailer. Oh, you like doing the little...
I just like hearing what you come up with.
Okay, all right. Let's do it. Deep in the forest lurks a cave of wonders. Awakened by the spirit of people coming into the forest, a creature awakes and crawls out of the depths of the cave, finding it wants to thirst for blood. So bad at this. Only a group of, I don't know, ragtag bunch of people can stop the madness of Forest Primeval. I'm so bad at
Wow.
those things. Does that make you feel better?
I mean, I always like when you cook with them on your own.
Yeah.
They have a very specific flavor.
Yes. And we watched this movie last week, but I did take notes for it
When did we watch it? Tuesday?
last week.
And today's Saturday for those of you who are, I mean,
Did we
doesn't
watch it
matter
this
to the
week?
show. Yeah.
Oh, it was this week. It just seems
It's
like
on Tuesday.
so long ago.
Because we were going to record.
I've been working weird schedules at work, so
That'll be done soon.
to me it feels like Wednesday, but it's Saturday.
It's Saturday morning. We're about to head over to our friend's store for a little thing.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
All right. So
the trailer?
Yep, we're gonna. Oh, the trailer is a, I don't know, something medieval.
Okay.
Yeah, find something medieval, like maybe with a little knight on it or something, because it's primeval. Get it?
Yeah.
All right. Hi, trailer. Beep, beep.
Just doing all the work for me.
I am.
Makes it easy.
Yeah. All right. So we'll pause for a second. We'll watch the trailer and we'll be right back.
I've been having those visions again, and this time they're worse.
I hope this treasure hunt pays off, Reggie. There's Indian treasure buried on Skull Mountain. This might actually be worth something.
I know you want me, but you can never have me.
Blue, we need to leave right now. What is it? Oh man, why won't it start?
And we're back. So at this point in the show, Mr. Newly Dead's got some notes.
I do. I take notes when we're watching the films. We have a rough guideline of things to discuss, especially when it's been a few days and we can't remember exactly what the plot was because we watch other movies in between then and now. But this is Forest Primeval from 2008, currently sitting at 3.8 out of 10 on the Internet Movie Database. When I take notes, I draw pictures, and at the end of the year, Mrs. Newly Dead puts them together into a flip book.
I do. I need to work on that. Well, I'm off next week, so I've got lots of time.
That flip book should be going up by the time you see this. It should be on the website that we mentioned previously. But these notes may not be on there because these are for next year. Well, this year. The 2024s will be up. Anyway, so this time I drew.
Oh, a little skull with a little question mark face.
It says creep underneath it.
Yep.
And then the other one says bone.
Bone. And then
there's just
2013.
a skeleton guy. Well, that goes with the movie that I recommended.
It's cute.
It's a skeleton with a hat on.
Yeah, he's cute.
Anyway, you'll get to see those next year when we post. But 2024s will be up here shortly. Anyway, as I mentioned already previously, this is directed by Mark and John Polonia. So, as we will discuss here, let's see.
It's a shot on video movie, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So John Polonia, now keep in mind that most of these were put together by both of them. However, John passed away in 2000 and, I don't remember what year he actually passed away, but he's no longer with us. But so there's a point where Mark goes on his own. Anyway, so John Polonia is known for directing Splatter Farm, which is kind of the movie that made them a household name, at least in the Pennsylvania area and slightly beyond. Feeders, which is the next one that actually was, if you probably have seen both of those in Blockbuster if you're of a certain age. And Peter Rottentail, not to be confused with the Rottentail that we watched on Joe Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Totally separate movie.
Okay.
But also about a killer man rabbit. Mark Polonia, his brother, which I believe they might be twins. I don't remember.
They look very,
specifics.
very, very similar.
They do. Is known for Mummy Shark, which needs to get into our rotation soon. Cocaine Shark, which also needs to get into our rotation very soon.
Mm-hmm.
And Sharkenstein, which we've talked about before, but we haven't watched yet. You know, we got a whole Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein thing going on, Frankenstein's monster. And so this was written by John Polonia, by himself, who is also known for writing Halloween Night. That's all one word for some reason. Holla If I Kill You. No idea what that's about. And Hellbilly. Not to be confused with the Rob Zombie albums.
Yeah.
Hellbilly Deluxe. So this stars one David Fife, who was in this, and that's it. And now there's a little bit of confusion on the Internet Movie Database because there's also somebody named Dave Fife, and I think it's the same guy, but he put in two different entries. Now, Dave Fife was in The Last Chainsaw Massacre, which is also a Polonia Brothers film. Zillafoot, which is also a Polonia Brothers film, like as in Godzilla, Bigfoot, Zillafoot, get it? And Doll Shark, which I also believe is a Polonia Brothers film.
Doll Shark?
Doll Shark. Yeah, so it's a little
Shark Doll.
Shark Doll, yep. This also stars Ken Van Zant. That's Sant with an S, not a Z, who was in Cocaine Werewolf. See a theme here. Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
Shark Werewolf. Bigfoot versus Zombies, which has been on our list to watch at some point. And Pandasaurus. Exactly what you think it is.
Pandasaurus.
Pandasaurus. This also stars Cindy Wheeler, which I added her after the fact because she ended up kind of being the main character of the film. She was in this, of course. She was in Halloween Night that I mentioned previously. And she was in Camp Blood First Slaughter, which Camp Blood is a, I would say, long-running franchise in the vein of, it started out as kind of being a Friday the 13th thing, but it's turned into its own monster. And I have the first 10 films on a collection that I got from MakeFlix. But since then, they've released, I think, 4 more movies, including one where, because the killer inhabits people, kind of like if you've seen Friday the 13th Part 9, Jason Goes to Hell, it kind of is that same philosophy where the killer inhabits different people. And there's timelines that seem to be kind of messy, and it's a very complicated franchise. But they just released an animated one, which I haven't seen yet. They released a sequel to Part 6, which, try and do the math on that, because since Part 6, there's been like 5 other movies, but they released a sequel to Part 6. And they just put out one where because it always wears a clown mask, which the clown mask varies as well, where it inhabits the body of a shark. So there is Camp Blood Shark something.
Nice.
I'll put the thing up here.
Sounds interesting.
It's a great franchise. The animated one is actually CGI, and it's exactly as good as you expect. The Camp Blood series is a lot of fun, but it's complicated. So anyway, all right, at this point, I turn to my wife, and she says,
What'd you think?
and here's where we get into it, and hopefully she remembers this, and hopefully I remember it. So, like I said, this was directed by the Polonia Brothers, which I was first introduced to them when we watched my friend Dennis and I back in the early days of our relationship when we first met. He introduced me to the Polonia Brothers because he's from Butler, PA, and I guess knew them in some capacity. And so he's like, you have to see these movies by these guys. So he showed me Saurians, which is about dinosaurs, but it's Saurians, if you figure it out. And this was about 1989. So I've known of and watched the Polonia Brothers for quite a while now and have been a fan. But then I kind of lost sight of them for a while and then have since been reintroduced thanks to MakeFlix. So again, thank you, Jared Bookwalter. So this was executive produced by Mr. Bookwalter. And the reason I keep bringing him up is because he's kind of a legend in the shot on video world. You may know him from Ozone, which is probably one of his best known films, which is on the shelf. Robot Ninja, which is without argue his best known film, which actually spawned a comic book and a bunch of other things. Chick Boxer, which is on the shelf, and Zombie Cop. There's actually a set with all of at least those two.
That sounds fun.
Some other movies. So in the movie, the first thing, we get 5 minutes in and there's a decapitation.
Yep. No, it wasn't just decapitated. He just got his head slapped off.
Yeah, like it's like, and it just went flying. Um, the music was decent. There was lots of repeating, but there was I wrote here he was farting, dropping the kids off at the pool, and then more farts.
I said so much poop and farts.
Yeah, why
It was
there
that
so
guy
much
that was in the
farting?
trailer, or like RV or whatever.
Oh, right. Yeah. So there's these two guys that have one of them quits his job. They get a metal detector and they're going out into the woods to this area where supposedly there's
Hunt for treasure.
this gold that's still in them there hills.
Yeah.
And they're there, and the one guy's like, I gotta go now. I can't wait. So he grabs the thing and he goes out to immediately start looking. And while he's gone, the other guy's like, I'm gonna stay here and watch a movie. So he's watching, I forget what he's watching. It was something funny.
Oh, it was funny.
I was like, oh hey, he's watching blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden he's like, whoo, them enchiladas I had are coming back or whatever.
Yeah.
And he starts farting, and then he goes into the lavatory in the RV and starts pooping. So, that's the kind of movie you're going to get.
I mean, if you've watched our show, you know that Joel is a fan of farting, at least in the trailers.
Bailey, did you just fart? Okay. So in the course of looking for, treasure in them there hills, he found a penny, tin can, so a penny can,
Yeah.
and a knife, which the knife then becomes kind of
It
the
has a
linchpin
bone
of the
on it.
movie.
Mm-hmm. A bone knife.
It's supposed to be a very old knife, but it obviously was made for the sake of the film, so it doesn't look very old. But apparently this knife has a legend attached to it that it's the only thing that can stop the something. What was it? What
The
was
forest primeval thing.
the monster, yeah, that's in the forest.
He's like a demon.
Oh, right. He's got like this like chompy head and these big long arms, and they had done some stop motion, which we saw in the featurette. There was some extra bonus features on the disc, and so we watched those.
I wrote down it was the creature, aka Devil from Hell. I think that's what they were calling it.
Devil from Hell. I put in quotes here, don't run into a Sasquatch or Snack Squatch.
Yeah, I wrote down Snack Squatch too.
Yeah, somebody mentioned Snack Squatch. He's
I know.
let's see. So then the main girl that became kind of the lead, she went out to face her fears alone. And then I kind of paused and I wrote down in my notes here that it had gone on. All of this happened in the first like 45 minutes to an hour of the film. And there was only like 15 minutes left. And I still had no clue exactly what was happening. I just knew that they were kind of being stalked by this forest creature. They had a knife that could stop it, but they, for some reason, weren't using it.
Yeah.
And then the girl finally kind of has a final run-in with this creature and starts running away from it and runs into a tree and knocks herself out.
Yeah.
I said, that tree is a knockout. And then her boyfriend, played by, I believe it was John Ploney in the film, not Mark. I thought it was Mark at first, but they look so very similar. Is at his job and decides he's got to go find her. And he's got kind of these dad vibes going on.
Oh yeah.
With his full on
she was like wasn't she like a reporter or something, or like he worked for like a newspaper kind of like reporter thing, or like news. It was like a news.
Yeah, he worked for like
W. And I think she worked for them too or whatever. And he was like, she kept having premonitions and stuff of that like devil, right, in the woods and stuff. And she's like, it's back or whatever. And he gets like really mad and he's just like, you're crazy or whatever. And
they kind of break up and she's at her house and she's like, I got to go face this thing. That's why I wrote that.
Mm-hmm.
And so she goes out and then he's like, okay, well, I got to go. So he gets in his car and drives out to find it.
And, it's supposed to be out in the middle of nowhere. And like, he's just like, oh, there's her car.
Right. He just finds her car.
Like she's just at the park down the road.
And then he immediately gets killed.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. It's from 2008. If you haven't seen it by now, you should. I wrote here the fake knife of Stabbington because it did look very fake. And then I wrote he blew up. So did the monster at the end blow up for some reason? Do you remember?
I think they killed it with a knife.
Did they finally get the knife to it?
Well, yeah. So
what do you got?
The monster like raises this like red skulled zombie from the grave.
Oh, that's why I drew the guy with the hat. Usually I'm the one that remembers everything. You're the one that remembers everything this It's been a while.
And so he's like stalking her through the woods, and like he's just this like giant, like red-faced skull guy with like a, what kind of hat would that be? Like a top hat almost, but not like a
bowler almost, maybe.
yeah, kind of like a like I drew his
Yeah, he's got like a
like
kind of like
picture,
a
and they
pork
can't see
pie
it.
slash bowler
Yeah.
slash something.
And he's like, I said, I'm gonna get you, and then I said, oh no, she killed me, because he came up behind her or whatever, and then she ends up like killing him or whatever. Yeah. So and then so once he's out of the way, I think then they can go battle like the big beast or whatever that came out of the big giant cave.
Because he's this like, it's clearly, obviously it's a very low budget film, so he looks like a guy with a suit on that's kind of ratty.
Like the zombie guy?
Yeah.
He had like a trench coat.
And he had like gloves on that made his hands look huge.
Like almost like Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, like these oversized
Yeah.
gloves, but then he had his spinal column kind of out, so it's supposed to look like he's,
A
a
zombie.
skeleton, essentially, or at least
Skeletal.
thank you. But he's just kind of this bigger dude with a giant head and giant hands and a hat on for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And they keep shoving a leaf in one of his eyes, I guess, to look like he just rose up from the grave.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's chasing him around, and then he gets killed, and then the monster does his thing, and then the monster gets killed, and then
Yeah.
I feel like I don't remember what happened to her, so I guess you won't get spoilers just because we can't remember the exact.
I know, yeah. And you're right, we did watch it on 12/30/24 at 8:40 p.m.
She put the thing in their show notes.
Yeah.
What
Uh
else you got?
so I said, what's with all the whistly wind snores?
Oh, yeah.
That's the only thing that like was bothering me mostly, is I kept hearing, like, I think it was supposed to be like the wind whistling maybe whenever they were like outside. But it sounded like,
It did sound like snoring.
yeah. So I was just like a little bothered by
And
that.
you drew one of the main characters there, the farty poopy guy.
Yeah, the blonde mullet dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had like a
Not a good mullet.
hair,
Head.
like a headband and like big mullet
Not a
blonde.
good wig.
Yeah. I also wrote doubles and zombins.
There was a supernatural Satan aspect. Well, this is a shot on video film. It's a kind of a niche thing. So if you know the Polonia Brothers, I definitely recommend that you watch it. But if you don't, may not be your thing. Who knows? But
Yeah, I mean, if you like low budget, kind of movies and stuff, I feel like I said that I thought it was fun. It had a good pace to it. There's movies that I've seen that have been shot on like regular, not video, but like a big production and
High
stuff like
quality.
that, high quality
H2O.
H2O, and are just horrible crap.
Unwatchable.
Yeah, unwatchable. Bad sound, bad everything. And this is at least watchable. And like I said, it kept a good pace. Like the characters knew their lines. I could hear them. They had good sound quality. Like, yeah.
That's one thing you can say about the Polonia Brothers. Love or hate the shot on video genre. They always have, and Mark still has, fun movies that are not a waste of your hour and a half or however long they run. Because you'll always be a little bit entertained, and you may poke fun at a little bit here and there, but at the end of the day, it's like you said.
Yeah, it just reminds me of like the films that like my brother used to make with his friend, out in the backyard kind of thing. But like obviously with more production and like adults and things like that. So, but it's like they could find a mask, and like so they find this mask, and then they make a story around it or what have you. So yeah, this is one of those examples when I say like we don't poop on all of the movies just because it's a low budget movie. That I think that's why Joel, probably one of the reasons why he likes shot on video. It's because it's like our support of local businesses. It's these smaller artists that don't get recognized in these like giant corporations of movie making and stuff. So he likes to support the little guys, and so that's, I think Maybe if I'm speaking out of turn, but
No,
I feel
no.
like that's kind of what you're.
They're passionate about making movies, then whatever, by all any means necessary, then I always give it a shot.
Yeah, like it's not going to have some like crazy CGI or like whatever. But I wrote twist.
I don't remember what the twist was.
I wrote twist.
Something must have happened at the end. I don't remember what it was.
I know. I'm sad that we both
Sorry,
of us, neither of
guys.
us remember the exact ending, which is good though, because that way you can watch it and you can enjoy it. And you don't get spoilers from the old newly deads.
So at this point,
Yeah. I would say that we can rate it, right? I would say, what would you want to give it out of Red Skulls?
oh, so I mean, I've already put this on my Letterboxd account, which if you'd like to find that out, I'll put that information here. But I gave it a 2.5.
I gave it a 2. Yeah, I
Which-
said fun, good pace, good effort, low budget, but fun.
That's all you can say about the Polonium Brothers. Typically, some movies
Yeah.
are better than others, but you'll always be like, "Oh, that was pretty fun."
Yeah. Awesome. Well, what are we watching next week?
Nope.
What? What do you mean, nope?
What do I recommend?
Oh, if you don't want to watch this, I feel like you do want them to
Yeah,
watch
but I
this.
still recommend something
Is
else.
this true? If you don't want to watch this, what should they watch?
Or if you want to watch something that's kind of adjacent to it. So the thing that kept popping up into my head as we were watching the film is that it almost felt like a riff, although this was almost 10 years earlier, to 2017's The Ritual, which was on Netflix. I don't know if it was a Netflix film, but it's about 4 guys that go out into the woods for I forget why. It's like a bachelor weekend or something, and they end up getting involved with this giant mythical creature that's in the woods, and it's so well done. Like the effects in it and everything are just seamless. It's a great movie if you've never seen it. Good cast, good story, kind of dark, a little bit depressing, but felt like it was kind of a adjacent to this.
All right. Now what are we watching next
Now
week?
what are we watching next week? So next week we're either going to be really happy with this or we're going to be really upset by it.
The Frankenstein Theory. It's
From
from the
2013,
it's from the creators of The Last Exorcism.
which I like the last. It's actually on the shelf.
It looks looks
Sus.
like a big giant Frankenstein.
Yeah, I don't think he's that big in real life. I think
Mm-mm.
it's like we've got Frankenstein at home. I think he's
I'm not entirely sure any of these photos are from the movie. I mean, except for these back here. Is there anybody in it that we know?
I haven't written my notes out yet, so I can't tell you that.
Hmm.
Usually I'll have my notes written by now, but
I
we
was
had
just trying to see if I could.
other things going on, so I haven't had a chance.
Yeah. Starring nobody I've known. Nope.
We'll get to that next week.
I know none of those people. Okay. I'm going to read the synopsis. What if the most chilling novel of all time was actually based on a true account of a horrific experiment gone awry? When he is suspended from his university job for his outlandish ideas, Professor John Vinkenheim leads a documentary film crew to the rim of the Arctic Circle in a desperate effort to vindicate his academic reputation. His theory, Mary Shelley's ghastly story Frankenstein, is, in fact, a work of nonfiction disguised as fantasy. In the vast frozen wilderness, Vinkenheim and his team search for the legendary monster, a creature mired in mystery and drenched in blood. What they find is an unspeakable truth more terrifying than any fiction, a nightmare from which there is no waking.
All right, you got me. I'm interested now. And like I said, the Last Exorcism is on the shelf. If it's the one I'm thinking of with Ashley Bell, the sequel was not great, but the original I enjoyed. So
All right. Well, yeah, I'm always interested in anything Frankenstein related, so
it sounds like an interesting twist on an old theme.
I
So,
agree.
and we liked that one BBC Frankenstein that we watched.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Who knows?
Yeah. Well, as always, thank you very much for watching. We appreciate you coming here, and we hope to see you again in the next week. And until then,
Keep it cheap and creepy.
bye.
Go look after your mother and sister.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna finish this. Oh, we set sail to hunt the whale, but the whale's too cute to kill. So we said heave ho and went below to stream some flicks and chill. And there we saw a movie that made the blood run cold. The finest tale of sharks and dolls that ever has been told. Oh, the hearts that brave the ocean's wave are the stoutest hearts of all. But we're unprepared to be so scared of the shark who was a doll. The victims came, the victims went, we watched the dollar kill 'em. It's quite correct and we expect from a Apollonia film. A very scary movie that made our blood run chill. The finest tale of sharks and dolls from Amity to Amityville. Oh, a whaler's life is a sailor's life and the sweetest life of all. But if I could be someone else but me, I'd be Jeff Kirkendall. So dreamy, seen the eyes of the Kraken rise from the sea in a fearful squall. But it made us quail to see the tail of the shark who was a doll. We all turned pale when we saw the tail of the shark who was a doll.